All right, Steven, you ready for us?
I think so.
All right, let's get it. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. We had some technical difficulties on my
We,
side.
yeah,
I
well,
had
there's
some
no we.
technical
There's no we in this involved. Christian has for like for as smart as you are, for
I
as
have
like
some dumb
consistent as you
moments.
are with putting this shit together for us, for reminding me to do some shit half the time. Like you have the jankiest equipment that money cannot buy, and it's every time your camera busts out. Like I think the only thing that works is your microphone. But like I said, you have an HP laptop.
Mhm. So what's crazy about that is I was just talking to someone and I said, I'm to the point now I have to buy another laptop strictly for like podcasting stuff and like business stuff. Then I can have my like play laptop because I honestly think part of the reason is all the secret shit I do on this computer, not bad, but like secret stuff, it messes up some of it.
Your computer is probably like, remember like back in the day when you're like we had all the viruses on our parents' desktop computers,
Mm-hmm.
like LimeWire, shit like that. I feel like all the stuff you're doing, while it's yeah, sure legal, like you probably got some viruses swimming in there that like you don't even know about, and it's like it's just like slowing down everything. Like it looks like video quality wise, it looks like you're still in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't, I don't know what
It's a filter.
I can't. Yeah, okay, we'll call it that. I can't. I just cannot take this seriously right now. You
So
had me waiting. I texted you at 8 o'clock and said I was good.
I know, and that
Got
thing
the
was
kids to
like
sleep.
circling and
Yeah,
everything for at least 10, 15
I put the
minutes.
kids to sleep. I got myself ready. I watched two press conferences from Penn State's post practice today. That got through. Didn't think I was going to get through one of them. I got through both of them because your ass was, I don't know what you were doing, where you were, what you were trying to do, but we made it. So
Speaking of Penn State, what's up with the quick slants?
yeah, surprise episode going out tonight at 9 p.m.
He has been doing it.
I have. It's that time of year, you know. It's my what is that? What do you got there? Please,
It's just
please, please don't tell me it's something alcoholic in that clear ass plastic cup. If it is, let's not even worry about it. Okay, we'll not even worry about it. So I have a surprise episode coming out tonight because there's been two guys entering the transfer portal recently from Penn State. And then the AP top 25 came out, and the coaches poll came out. Penn State was absent from both of those things.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising because they were dog shit the last half of the season last year, finished 7-6, got our ass kicked in the bowl game. So that's not really the reason why I put it out. To talk about that, talk about the transfer portal stuff. I want to start doing more like random quick hitters, one hitters, not those type of one hitters, but quick hitter things that people can kind of get up to speed on things and the world of Penn State football, the world of college football, sports in general. If there's something that like we just need to talk about or I need to talk about, that is not going to be during my regularly scheduled episodes. Then I'll put it out. So this is not even 30 minutes. Something quick. Talk about the transfer portal. Talk about AP top 25, coach poll, all that kind of good stuff. Why I don't think it's a big deal that we're not ranked into it. Some people think it's a big deal, but I don't think it is. So put that out. I put out the Q&A last week. That was a big success. Shout out to all the people who sent me questions. I had a ton of questions. Some I didn't even get to because I didn't want to take up that much time. Some are repeats, but yeah, I got a ton of responses, which is great. That's my probably my one big yearly, episode that I do with the Q&A. So that was awesome. Got a lot of views on the blog with that one as well. I did that too. So yep, seasons, we are 15 days away, which is dope. Very excited about that. We play Purdue Thursday, September 1st, 8 o'clock on Fox. So we're getting there. Very pumped. It's getting close to, juices are going to start flowing. Once we get from like a week out, like I'm not going to do any work. I'm not doing anything. Like we're completely shifted focus to start of the season. So yeah, quick episode coming out tonight. I would have loved to talk about the episode at like 8 o'clock, but we got to talk about it now. So it's coming out at 9 o'clock, and I'll put it out on Twitter, everything. And make sure you go follow the new Quick Slants Twitter account at the Quick Slants. Your boys got that up and running. Once the season starts, probably a lot more content from there. So got to try and get the followers up on that. So I don't have to keep retweeting it from my personal account, all that kind of good stuff. So tell your friends. Shout out to all the followers I have on there so far, which I think is like 15. So
That's
that's dope.
good.
So
Yeah.
making waves on that. But yeah, quickest episode coming out tonight. I'll post on Twitter and we'll go from there.
Last take I want to bring up in terms of the quick slant. So on Steven's Twitter, and pretty sure it was just on your Twitter, you brought up the Florida Gators and why they've been getting a good amount of people to their school. Can you talk about that and what that is?
Yeah. So Florida, much like every other top tier college program, has sunk a ton of money into their buildings and facilities, weight room, players' lounges, and like you've seen them today. These days, it's like, I mean, they're futuristic isn't even the right word. It's whatever's beyond futuristic. That's what it is. They have, and each school has a certain amount of money from donors and everything that they put into it. And some schools have more. Schools below the Mason-Dixon line have a lot more than the schools up north, as we've all seen. So Florida's opened the doors to their new football facility, weight room, players' lounge, locker room, everything, and it's super dope. My mom's a Florida grad, so I'm sure she gave a few bucks to that probably. Ridiculous. But Penn State actually had a big time recruit that was leaning towards Penn State, ended up going to Florida, and they had a commit that was a quarterback for next year, 3-star quarterback, decommit, ended up going to Florida. So that they've been on a roll lately with the recruiting trail. Penn State is going to be opening the doors to their new facility, hopefully sometime this season. There's been delays. My uncle is actually working on the project right now. So there's just been delays, and Coach Franklin doesn't want them working on certain sides of the building when they're practicing for obvious reasons. So the weight room's done. There's certain parts of the facility that are done, but like Penn State's facilities, dude, like were not updated for like 20, 30 years. Just because like I guess Joe Paterno never thought that was needed. That was like a necessary thing, but like it is. Now, it's funny because you're sinking all this money into it. Whereas like now with NIL, you should be sinking all your money into that. Not all your money, but you know what I mean. So those like, 30, 40, $50 million, dumps you put into the facilities, kids don't even care about that shit anymore. Like when they come on visits, the guys there that are like involved in the program, that are in the program, that are there every day, yeah, they love it. Like, of course they love it because it's all brand new. They get, looks cool, all that kind of good stuff. So Penn State should be opening the doors to theirs, hopefully like mid-season. Don't know that for sure. I'm sure there'll be a dope video like every college puts out. So yeah, Florida's doing it big. Every other school, Bama, Texas A&M, they've opened theirs up, in the last handful of years, and that's it's what you gotta do. Gotta keep up with the Joneses.
No, for sure. So that's something I wanted to bring up because I saw it and I said the best person to talk about it was Steven, because that was something that was important. That's kind of what all these different schools are doing. It's the most materialistic on the surface thing, but it's something all these schools have to do because it's that almost like appeal that every single school, it's like, yo, we have the dopest shit. Kind of like back in high school and in college, whoever had like the best party, they got more people the next week. Same thing with this. If you have the nicest facilities and stuff, you're going to get the better players unless you're Deion Sanders, whereas then you just kind of get people. But that's a different story. But I wanted to end up bringing that up just to talk about the quick slants really quick. In terms of the spaces, we're still doing it on Monday and Wednesdays. The one that was supposed to be tonight, I end up doing that on Monday. Funny story, Steven. So I have one that's on Wednesdays, but they're in like UK. So I said, all right, I can work around their time. I can't do it Wednesdays because I'm in the office Wednesday. So I did it on Monday. It was only supposed to be one person. The guy that was supposed to be at the 7:00 time slot, I guess time and coffee messed him up. So he came at the 1:00 time slot. I'm able to say this because I promise you he's not listening to it. And so he was on, and I asked this question to everyone. Same way you end up asking a question about Bitcoin. I asked them, what separates you and makes you sustainable throughout like the bear market that's going on that people will want to get into your project? I shit you not, this man started talking, saying stuff, and then he said, there's nothing really I can tell you right now that'll make somebody appeal to want to be invested in the project. And I was like,
that's like
all right,
it's like
why are
like
you
when
on?
it's like when you go on a recruiting visit and the coach is like, look, dude, you're probably gonna be third string. You're not gonna start. So like that's really all I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's not
Or
a
are
good
they going to be
that's not a good foot forward.
No. So it was one of those, they told me in advance. So it started a big thing, and this segues into finance and stuff like that. Big thing is a lot of times with these NFTs, they'll have different numbers on Twitter than compared to Discord. That was also a big reason why Elon Musk didn't want to buy Twitter anymore, because of the bots. So let's say they had 21,000 people on Twitter, but I look at their Discord as well, because they should almost be around even or a little bit less. They had 21,000 on Twitter. They probably had 5,000 on Discord. So someone was paying for people with that. And then they had 3,500 NFTs they were trying to sell. They only sold 100. Some math was not adding up there. And he was like, oh, it's a slow mint. Slow mints can be good. And I'm just thinking, you're trying to find ways to make this sound better than what it is.
Sure.
And so that's kind of what it was. But I just wanted to say that the other thing going into the finance aspect, I'm going to talk a little about NFTs, and I'm going to have a conversation with Steven in terms of different things that have come up going on. The first thing is, so I did apply for We Got Next to be in terms of the youth scholarship. So the youth scholarship is to be on the list for DGOT's second collection. They're looking for different content creators that are out there in the space. And I think this is also a good time, because it'll have Steven kind of get his official foot in the door with like NFTs and stuff. So it's something that we'll kind of put up. Yeah, we'll put up there like for We Got Next if we get accepted with it. If we don't, I'll still end up buying one, and then we'll put one up there. But it's something that I wanted to go through the We Got Next channel. I created a whole separate like wallet address for the We Got Next with NFTs. So anything that's in there is strictly for like We Got Next. It's not just like me affiliated or anything else. So it's just a way for, as more people start to reach out to us, more people start to want to collaborate, it'll all go into that address, and you guys can see like if we sell it, if we keep it, if we end up getting partnerships with other different projects that are out there. So I just wanted to get that out the way with DGODs, because that's something that should be coming up. It says we're under review right now. They had like over 3,000 or 4,000 different people apply. A lot of them got like kicked out just because, one, they said a joke in their application, whereas I kind of included links that Steven had from the quick slants, included links that I had from like different conversation I've had. I've included links of different things we talked about on here. So just showing different ways of content was the biggest thing. Going into the finance world. So as everyone knows, everything in life has been going up. Inflation has been killer. Before I even touch on any of these, Steven, just want to let you know. So rent's a big thing for us people out here in like around the DC area. And they said, hey, we're increasing the rent by 20%, aka $300.
Ooh.
So,
Dang,
so
bro. Well, I guess there goes your
homie is
laptop.
leaving.
There goes your laptop, bro. You ain't getting shit.
So that clearly shows like that's not happening. But it's wild that everything is increasing, but gas has been decreasing. And I brought up the housing market because I brought that up talking with like Tyler and stuff like that. But Target cut their prices to get rid of inventory. And that had earnings and the stock price fall, because people thought with them cutting the prices, it would end up increasing their stock price, because they thought they would end up selling more. And people are surprised now that retail sales have not really moved, although gas prices have gone down. And I brought this up because people are very stupid that they think just because gas prices have gone down, people are just going to go to the stores. There's so many other facets and caveats that are going into why people have not been buying things. I know Steven jokes around with me sometimes because I'll wear like the same damn shoes, like my dad's shoes, all the time. I won't buy a lot of shoes, so I'm not the person they're looking for. They're looking for more so the people I want to spend a lot, and those people aren't spending a lot because, one, their jobs aren't giving them more money. Two, they have to pay for so many different things in life. And then also I joke with Steven because the money that you make, it has to go to different places. It's not like, yep, we can just go to the store and buy it for ourselves. That's not what it can do, but that's really what they think.
Yeah, that's like the last thing on the
happen.
totem pole is buying for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's not like, we don't live paycheck to paycheck, and shout out to the people who do, because I've been there, done that. That's a struggle. But like, first things first, we got to take care of the kids. Got to make sure we go to the grocery store, we go to BJ's, my wife does, every week.
Yeah.
And we're buying shit, like the same shit every week. And it's not cheap. Like we'll spend probably like $100, $150 probably every week. Sometimes less depending on, what the kids eat and whatnot. But then you gotta go to sometimes, like, obviously BJ and Costco sell in bulk. So then you gotta go to the regular grocery store or Target to buy specific things, and like certain things that like BJ doesn't sell in bulk. But then when you go to Target, I know you said their prices have gone down for certain things, but like certain foods, like organic stuff and like have the healthier stuff, which, by the way, like, why the hell, and this is like this out of the box question, why the hell is healthier food and healthier shit always so much more expensive?
They don't want you to be.
Like, I get it, like that lifestyle of, like, that's why people aren't, like, that's why not everyone's healthy. That's why everyone goes to McDonald's, because it's like, you can cheaper. I mean, McDonald's is expensive as shit now. You can't $20 can't get you what it used to get when you're at 2:00 in the morning. But like, why is like expensive shit so? Why? I don't get that. Like, why is it so expensive for me to go get, like, organic, whatever, pasta, or like, and my wife is gluten-free and dairy-free because of a medical condition. So like, bro, you know how expensive it is to buy gluten-free and dairy-free shit consistently.
That's one of the most expensive stuff too.
Consistently. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, there's so many people that live with like certain conditions that like you need to buy that stuff all the time, and like you can't buy it in bulk because you're gonna be spending like 200 bones. Like, that doesn't, like, it just doesn't seem like reasonable. But it's like, hey, you want a bag of Doritos? Cool. It's buy one, get 10 bags of Doritos for free.
You can get a bunch of them.
I mean, shit, like, your boy's gonna go buy Doritos for sure. But like, not the point of the conversation. Like, your boy's definitely gonna go buy some cool Ranch Doritos, no doubt. But like, that, it shouldn't be that way, right? Like, and we try and give our kids healthy stuff, but like, obviously that fizzles out at certain times, and they kind of snack on or whatever. But like, it's just like a crazy concept. I don't even know where I was. Oh yeah, I was talking about expenses. Like, you have unexpected stuff. Like right now, like during the summer, your AC unit is probably gonna go out. Like, I know, people who are renting in apartments, and everything, that's kind of covered. But like, our AC's gone out twice this summer, and we've been knock on wood, and we've been lucky that it hasn't been a complete, gut job and replacement. But our friends, on the other hand, they just got theirs replaced, almost $10,000. Like, who, like, I mean, certain people maybe have that to spend on an AC, complete, redo, but like grocery stores, gas, you're taking trips all the time with kids, you're going to dinners and like whatnot, and like, it's just like you can't live like the lifestyle that maybe you want to live because shit's so expensive these days.
Exactly.
Tragic, it's tragic.
Yeah. What I wanted to end up saying about that, because Steven and I are in two good places for two different reasons. Steven,
you don't have kids.
I know, yeah. But I also always tell people, the day I'm struggling or living paycheck to paycheck is the day I sell my DGods NFT. And I tell that to people all the time, because that's kind of like the safe haven of, if I ever have to touch that, or if I ever start diving into any of my NFTs, there's an issue. And I talk to a lot of my crypto friends about it. You should have the two totally separate. And I said this on the spaces. You should not be diving into your cryptos and NFTs to end up paying for like your real life expenses. That never was the case for me. I've never had to do it. I honestly, personally, have not put another dollar into crypto in like the past year or so. Reason being, because I did it probably 3-4 years ago, and it was just always there. And now I've just done research and found different ways. And now it's like, yo, I can go to New York for like the DGods things and stuff. And it's just all money that's been there. But the moment I sell that, then we're going to have to talk about a different thing. You probably won't see me every single week doing this stuff.
Fact.
But yeah, but I also do have it in a good situation now, with where I also work. But Steven and I can both tell you where we started, and this is going to be my would you rather later, but where we started is totally different from where we are now. Because those times, I remember, at least for me, when I first started working where Steven and I worked, I was an unpaid intern.
Facts. Yes.
Going from Virginia to Maryland every day and figuring out some way to make money end up working where it was no money. Were there reasons? Yeah, because in college I did a lot of things to make sure I had the money for that. But that's kind of how it is. Some people out there are living like paycheck to paycheck, and they're having to decide, can I stay where I am, or do I got to go back home and live with the parents because I can't afford it? And that's what some areas are doing.
Bro, I ran out of gas that one time.
Exactly. That's like the way.
I think that was when I was still on the internship part of things when we started off. But like, It's like and like dude, I can't tell you how many times. What is that, by the way? What is that?
Oh, it's this wine my parents got me for my birthday.
All right. So like there's times like back in the day before I moved down here, before I met Brooke, and like when I was like, because I worked at a golf course during the summertime, but like during the semesters, I didn't work because I
Hmm.
would try and save my money from the summer, but like in college, that's just not happening because
Yeah.
unless like either a like your parents set you on a good financial plan and like tell you the value of a dollar and like tell you to save your money and all that kind of stuff, which not everyone's parents do that and mine didn't do that. It's no fault to theirs. It's just like this wasn't like a conversation. And like, but
Yeah.
as a 19, 20, 21 year old, when you're especially when you're like at a place like Penn State or whatever, and you want to go out with the boys, or you want to go do whatever, like you do that. Like you don't care about it. But then when you're driving someplace and you're on E or like below E, which is entirely possible, and
Hmm.
you got literally $20 to your name, sure, gas $20 to get you some point A to point B and maybe to point C depending on what kind of car you had. But like there was like I mean, back in the day, man, that was a huge struggle. And like
It
even like we're
was.
down here when we first got jobs, like you're not getting like the job that you have now, and
No.
you have internships, unpaid internships, and like it's a huge struggle. And then like for me personally, like trying to start a family young
Hmm.
and like buying a house young. Oh my god, dude, you want to talk about headaches?
I know.
Jeez, dude, like I won't get
He
too far
couldn't even
into it,
tell
but
me
like
when they sold a house.
yeah, Christian drove to the wrong house. Brooke had to tell him. But like yeah, that's like that shit's a struggle, and like there was tension like in the marriage because it's just a struggle, and like there's headaches all over the place. But like
Hmm.
you work through that shit and you grind, and look where we are now. Like I mean,
Yeah.
we can't do everything we want to do, sure, but like we could do like the Lakers game, and like
Exactly.
5 years ago, no chance, bro, no
No, that's
chance.
not something you're
5 years
thinking
ago,
about.
wasn't even a thought in anyone's
I don't
mind.
even we didn't even do stuff like that
No,
back then.
and it's not like you and I both don't live like lavish lifestyles, and like we don't
Hmm.
toss money around, but like yeah, like we're in positions where like sometimes we can do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking a trip to Ann Arbor with my brother-in-law BJ for the Penn State Michigan game this year. I
Hmm.
went to the Outback Bowl. I went to Penn State's bowl game this year. And then 2 weeks after that Michigan game, I'm driving up to State College for the Ohio State game. I'm
Hmm.
probably gonna spend like a decent amount of money, but it's like I work my ass off, and so is
Yeah.
my wife. We do those things, A, so we can support our kids, give them a good life, but B, so we can do that kind of shit. And it's like
Hmm.
you gotta grind that, and like situations like we're in America where it's like things are expensive. Like it can be a good thing because you don't put yourself in that position where like you are living the paycheck to paycheck, and like you don't go out and do the shit that you probably cannot do or shouldn't do. So you kind of like, if you're responsible and you're reasonable, like my wife is with our finances, you can kind of stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead of the game. When things calm down, you can jump back out there and do whatever you want to do.
Hmm. So Stephen brought up things being calm, and it goes into the next topic. I was going to go off on a tangent on that one, but I'll save it for this one. So student loans are set. So for everyone listening, don't end up just jumping down right now, but student loans are set to restart up in 2 weeks.
Mm.
Sources have been saying that they have told lenders to not relay any information to borrowers yet, because some people hint and think that another push is going to an extension that's going to happen again. I know for one of mine, I won't tell you guys really the date because I don't want it to be a wrong source, but I know for one of mine personally, it doesn't say 2 weeks from now. It says a different date in the future. That's the only reason why I kind of know some are going to end up getting pushed back, but it's also the only way, not going down the politics road. It's one of the only ways that America can kind of stay afloat ish, because everything is hit the fan, shit just fell apart, and they kind of handle certain things wrong. And now we're in this position of, in order for you guys to save your jobs, you almost have to keep pushing that back because people can't afford it. If
Facts.
everything's going up and you're going to end up saying, yep, you still got to pay us. Student loans is over a $1.5 trillion industry, basically, in that sense. For you guys to have that much money and still having people pay you guys during this, it'd be crazy. Only once I have to pay, and this is because I had to do it separately, or like certain grad school ones. But again, we go back to we can afford to do those things now. Back in the day, it would have been like, damn, like I need to figure out a way, or like, yo, dad, can we like scheme the system? But now it's one of those like, all right, I can take care of it, because I also have to think I'm a huge credit card person. If I don't pay this off, then the credit score is going to go down. Then I can't get those travel credit cards that I want. And then like the trips that I take every single year, I can't continue to do that. So it's a whole cycle of, once you get out the cycle, that's why billionaires and millionaires are made. But until then, you're just like in the hamster wheel cycle that they always talk about, trying to figure out a way to get out of that. But
It's
what are
also
your
crazy
thoughts
how much
on
you
this?
learn about that kind of shit as you get older. And like,
Yes.
just, I mean, I'm not a finance guy whatsoever. Like, my wife handles all that for us. I'm sure she would like me to jump in on it, but like
Mm.
every time I try to, she's like, no, like stop. Like, you're gonna make us poor. So like like don't do that. So like again, we don't go out and do that kind of stuff. And like, my wife still shops for the coupons and like gets
Hmm.
those kind of deals and like finds those deals on like on the sites when she buys clothes for the kids or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy how much you learn over time, like about like not spending your money, like
Hmm.
or putting it in the right, or putting it in the right place, or doing whatever it is to like save your money. Whereas like you have to do it, but it's
Yeah.
like once you get to the point where like you literally have no choice, and like that's what you need to do to like maintain mortgage payments, car payments, whatever it is, rent, whatever it is. Like it's crazy like how like it just like clicks on. You're like, oh shit, like that's what people were talking about 10 years ago when they're
Hmm.
like, you gotta be smart with your money, dude. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
now I get it. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So for me, everyone knows Steve and I are similar. I bought a lot of my shoes back in college. If I buy any sneakers now, not like dress shoes, if I buy sneakers now, I'm looking for a deal on top of deal. So my cell phone provider, they have something called Blank Tuesdays. I don't get paid by them, so I'm not going to bring it up. But they call it Blank Tuesdays, and they had like a 30% off of Adidas shoes. And then from my job, I got like some gift card, and I got $25 gift card to Adidas. So I said, oh, bet we are buying some shoes. That
Facts.
is 30% off, then $25, a gift card, then free shipping. Oh, I can buy these shoes now. But at the
Facts.
regular price over 150, oh, I wasn't doing that. So those are like different things, discounts. If you find them in different ways, take advantage of them. I even still do it. And I'm like, all I got to do is be like, hey, yo, Frank, can I sell the D God? I could buy like 10 if I wanted to, but why do I need to do that? It makes a smarter decision to do it this way. Just so we stay on course with everything, I'm about to segue into sports, but I have to give 3 shout outs in terms of NFTs.
I
So
know.
the first one, if you guys look at my new profile picture, it's the one I've been trying to get for a while. I had to work a deal out with somebody in the group, but I was able to help out with like Cheddar Block Games. So that was like the big thing that I was trying to do. So shout out to Cheddar Block Games. I have to shout out to Solana Monkey Rejects as well, because they should be shipping soon, the clothing and merchandise. So that's the other thing. Going into sports though, what are your quick thoughts on LeBron James's contract?
um 2 years, $97.1 million is
Hmm.
staggering. Not surprising. I think this is like the first time I feel like that he's been out there and like that type of thing has been mentioned for him. Like I know that like he signs deals with the free agency and whatnot, but um yeah, I mean like he's the highest earning player in NBA history now. 500 and what, $32 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed, yeah. And that's just his NBA
Yeah,
money.
I
Like
know.
that's not like what he's done off the court, which is like another $1 billion, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, like that, good for him, good for him, just stacking that bread.
Yeah. So next thing is, I feel the same way about that one. But I want to get Steven's thoughts and I'll give my thoughts. So I want to know what you're most excited about in college football, since that's coming up, and what are you most excited for in terms of the NFL season?
Most I'm excited for in the NFL season is the return of guys like Saquon and Christian McCaffrey. I'm excited to see what the Steelers are going to look like without Ben Roethlisberger for the first time since 2004. Um, uh, you know, I don't know if I'm excited about it because I got to see how the first couple games go with Mitch Trubisky. So, but I'm excited about especially the return of Saquon Barkley, and I'm excited to see what, sticking with the Penn State people, I'm excited to see what Micah Parsons does in his second year, and I think he'll be probably a lock for All Pro and be on that Defensive Player of the Year list at the end of the year. College football wise, There's a lot of transfers, and I'm gonna do an episode before the season starts about all the transfers, new head coaches, and everything. I'm excited that Penn State is flying under the radar,
Hmm.
because there's no pressure on us, like from like external, factors like the media and whatnot. I think there's obviously the internal pressure, but excited. I mean, I'm just like college football season. You know me better than anybody when it comes to this. Like that's all I care about. I
Hmm.
care about like my wife and my kids, my family, and everything, of course, duh. But like outside factors, like outside things, college football, like that's what I live for. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for the football season in general. So I've been going through some new recipes, getting new
Okay.
shit together, put new things on the menu. I just made some
You mentioned
cheesesteak
those chicken
sliders,
wings. Oh,
doing some buff chicken tenders, wraps, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, excited about all those good things. I'm getting excited about talking about it.
I know. So mine are one's a surprise, and I have to credit a lot of this to Steven. With college football, I think this will be the first year I will try my best to at least pay attention more to what ODU does.
Shout
Not
out.
going to do like a hell of a lot of it, but I think this year I'll start to focus on it more. I used to have a shit ton of connections down at ODU. So that's like my other goal, to get those connections back. So that like next year it can almost be like, AO Steven, we can either like talk to someone there, or we can end up going down there. Because I used to legit, me and my friends used to be front row at like the college basketball games. We got to see Cameron Payne when he came to end up seeing us. Like we were right there. So those type of things I'm looking forward to end up getting back in terms of like college football, following them. Of course, like the big name schools, seeing what they do. And then I'm also a little bit excited to see what Deion Sanders does with Jackson State
Mm,
in terms of all the talk. This has been a huge offseason because this is a big season for like the NIL. I want to see if like USC started a new trend or if they're a bust. So that's something else I'm curious about, just to see how that is. In terms of an NFL, man, Josh Allen finally. I love when you choose a player and you get to see that player just go all the way up, and it's like, damn. So like Josh Allen being like that main quarterback, people are talking. I'm like, shit. I mean, you should have talked about him when he was looking like Ben Roethlisberger a couple years ago.
facts.
But that's one thing. Justin Herbert's another one. I'm excited to see what they do out there in LA, because at first they were like the stepbrother, being in that same arena. Now they're almost talked about hand in hand as to what's going to happen there. So that's something. And I tell everybody this: I can set up my kids, my grandkids, my grandkids' kids if Lamar Jackson signs that goddamn contract. Because the moment he signs that contract, tickets are going to just go booming and everything
Yes.
will be fine. But right now, people, it's been kind of slow for people. Most of the times at this point, like a decent amount of tickets would have been sold, but because nobody knows what's happening really with Lamar, that's kind of like the thing that's been up in the air. So that's my two things in terms of that. Next week we'll end up getting more into like NFL and things like that. We wanted to switch it up some this week, and I got a would you rather.
Oh boy.
So we'll see if we have time for both, but I'll start with the first one. So I asked this with Tyler last week, so I'm not going to give out where Tyler lives. But would you rather live near the West Coast with the beaches and everything and the consistent nice weather, live in the Midwest? And when I mean the Midwest, I mean like the Wizard of Oz, like the plains area,
No.
the desert, so like in
Nope.
Arizona, Nevada,
Nope.
or would you rather live in New York City?
No, West Coast easily. Yeah, easily. I got one of my boys lives out there. My boy Kumar lives in Orange County, California, and he said,
Mm,
especially like for the NFL and like college football Saturdays, like it starts
amazing.
obviously 3 hours earlier. So you're starting those noon games at 9, those 3:30 games at 12:30, and like once the 8 o'clock games are over at they're over 8 o'clock out there. Like
Hmm.
you can still go out and have like the rest of the night to do that. So I would definitely say the West Coast for sure.
I would say the same thing. So my buddy, we ain't in the same living situation as Kumar, but he lives in San Diego. And well, because I'm the Mexico dude, so we like to just jump over the board and go to
Yeah,
Mexico.
sure.
But we it's just a different world out there. I tell everybody when they say, like, what are your thoughts on the West Coast of California? I'm like, you almost have to try it. I have one friend that lives in San Diego. I have one friend that lives in LA, and they both just went out there on a whim. And it's one of those, everyone's happy. Whereas on the East Coast, people look at you stank over there. Everyone's just
Damn
happy.
miserable as fuck.
Everybody. Yes. everyone's just positive in life. The days start differently because their baseball games and stuff. Since the Padres are doing so much better, we're not talking about Tatis, but
Mm-hmm.
since baseball, they're doing so much better, people want to go to those games. People want to end up just going out. You have San Diego State that's down there, San Diego University. You have so many things that are down there for people to do. LA, same thing. There's so much to do out there, and people want to be out there. Only reason I'm not out there is goddamn expensive because the amount he pays for his apartment
Big
is
facts.
wild.
Big
Yeah,
facts.
so I'd rather just be over here and just complain about my $300-400
Right,
increase
right,
than be
right.
out there.
More than like $3,000 increase out there.
Exactly. So that's the one we'll do for this week. The other one I'll say for you guys next week because we'll have a lot of things going on that time. But what you got for everybody?
I want to give a shout out to my son, who we all had our boys growing up that we met like preschool and shit like that that we still are friends with or still communicate with. Maybe not as much as we used to, but nonetheless, he's got a friend. His name's Nick, and they've been boys for like a year now. And like he doesn't
That's a
get
long
like,
time.
yeah, he doesn't like. And they're three, so like they don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So they just play with trucks all the time and like
Yep.
whatever. But like, man, they're like they're boys. Like and you know our families, then we're really close now. Like neither one of us are leaving anytime soon in the area. Like they're from here. My wife's from here. Like none of us, unless jobs take us other places, which I don't see that happening. Like we're gonna stay in our neighborhood in the area for a long time. So it's just cool to see that. Like knowing that like
Mm-hmm.
we did that. So it's cool to see my kids start to go through that, and he's at that age now to get more friends. My daughter has friends, so like that's his boy. And like when you talk about him, like we're going to Nick's house, like he gets so excited. So
Hey.
it's just cool to see that. And like they went up to each other and like high five, whatever. Like they're cool like that. So yeah, it's just dope to see that like he's got his boy. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Shout out to Mason and Nick.
Yeah. So my shout out
Shout out.
is going to be one for us because I legit thought about how much it takes for our schedule. So Steve and I have two crazy different schedules, and for us to continue to find a way to have this happen for over a year. I was talking to Tyler about this. The show's been going on for over a year, and there could have been a bunch of times where it could have faltered and stuff. So that's a big shout out for us to continue with this and to have like branch offs of different things that we
Yeah.
still do too.
Shout out.
So that's like the big thing. Shout out, and shout out to all my friends finally being done with their damn weddings. I got one more to go to, but they're all done. So I can finally like rest and not have to deal with so much. Next week, I'll probably end up talking about a lot of the wedding stuff because one of them, we didn't show up to the wedding until 2 hours later because we were pre-gaming an hour after the wedding.
Nice.
But that's all I got for today. We're done. We are back together finally. But other than that, we out.
Peace.